Welcome to this visual explainer. Today we're undertaking a deeply fascinating exercise. We're going to look at just one single sentence, derived from our source material. Literally just one line. But man, this line carries the tremendous weight of a manifesto. It's all about ideas, creation, and the fierce defense of intellectual territory. If you've ever created something, really, anything at all, you know that feeling of putting it out into the world, right? You know that vulnerability? Well, this single sentence we're about to explore serves as an armored shield against that vulnerability. It's the ultimate declaration of intellectual sovereignty and the absolute power of definitive proof. So grab a seat, settle in, and let's unpack the profound architecture hidden within these few simple yet incredibly powerful words.
Okay, let's dive into this. We begin with a striking, almost aggressive declaration to silence any doubt about the reality of your sovereignty and your inventions. Just feel the undeniable finality of that opening phrase for a second, to silence any doubt. The source text doesn't suggest managing doubt. It doesn't talk about debating your skeptics or, gently persuading the non-believers over time. No, the explicit goal is to silence it completely, to render doubt utterly mute. As a creator, you are constantly battling against an ocean of skepticism. People look at a new invention or a radical new concept, and society's very first instinct is to question its validity, its origin, or its worth. This text acknowledges that heavy reality right up front, establishing immediate tension. You have your inventions, and the world has its doubt. This sentence right here, it's the battleground between the two.
At its core, this whole thing is a massive conflict between two opposing forces. On one side, you have the heavy weight of doubt, and on the other, reality. Now, this burden is something literally every pioneer, inventor, and creator faces. Doubt represents all those external forces, the critics, the marketplace, sometimes even the people closest to you, who look at your abstract idea and say, is this actually real? Does this matter? Is this truly yours? But then look at the other side, reality. In this context, we aren't just talking about objective scientific reality. We're talking about the internal, undeniable truth of the creator's work. It represents the late nights, the countless iterations, the sheer force of will it took to bring an idea from absolute nothingness into existence. The profound tension the text explores is how to bridge that enormous gap between your internal, solid reality and the external world's flimsy, yet incredibly pervasive skepticism.
And that brings us to what is truly at stake here, introducing an incredibly powerful word used in our source text: sovereignty. Now, normally, when we hear the word sovereignty, we instantly think of nations, borders, kings, governments, right? The whole geopolitical shebang. But the text applies this massive, heavy concept directly to you, the individual. It defines sovereignty as a tangible reality connected directly to your personal inventions and your intellectual autonomy. I mean, really think about what it means to be sovereign for a second. It means you are the supreme authority over your domain. As an inventor, your mind is your kingdom. The things you create, those are the natural resources of that kingdom. This text is telling us that intellectual autonomy isn't just some nice, floaty philosophical idea. It's a sovereign state that must be fiercely, unapologetically proven and defended against invaders.
So, the crucial point is, how do these concepts interlock to form an impenetrable fortress around your ideas? Well, it's a completely logical progression. First, you have to silence doubt. But we all know you can't do that with just empty words. That naturally leads to step 2. You must prove your reality. And how exactly do you prove it? By firmly claiming your sovereignty, which is step 3. And the ultimate result of claiming that sovereignty is step 4, protecting your inventions. The text intrinsically links a creator's personal sovereignty directly to the tangible output of their mind. You aren't just protecting a physical gadget or written process here. You are protecting your fundamental right to be recognized as the supreme architect of that creation. They form a single, unified chain. If you break even one link, the whole concept of owning your ideas just completely falls apart.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we take this out of the theoretical. We've talked about the philosophical battle between doubt and reality. We've talked about claiming your intellectual kingdom. But how do you actually execute this in the real world? The text provides the definitive answer: the certificate of inventiveness. This is the sovereign seal. Throughout human history, abstract concepts like ownership, authority, and identity have always required physical tokens to be recognized by the masses. A king has a physical crown. A homeowner holds a paper deed, and for the sovereign inventor, you possess this certificate. It is the definitive, unarguable artifact that absolutely resolves the tension we discussed. When you present this document, the debate is effectively over. That silencing of doubt we analyzed earlier, this is the exact tool that achieves it. Let's move to this step-by-step breakdown and see how this builds into a beautifully logical progression of proof. The source material isn't just throwing dramatic words around for fun, it's providing a precise three-step formula for establishing undeniable truth in the world. Step 1. The existence of doubt. We just have to accept that skepticism is the default state of the universe when faced with something new or revolutionary. Step 2. The assertion of reality. This is that internal resolve, the creator deeply knowing their truth and standing incredibly firm in their intellectual sovereignty. But guys, the magic really happens at step 3, the presentation of the certificate. This is where the internal finally becomes external. This is where the invisible idea is permanently anchored into the physical world by a recognized seal of proof. The certificate acts as the final, concrete solution that retroactively neutralizes step 1. The document is literally the vital bridge between the unseen genius in your mind and the accepted reality in society.
As we conclude this visual explainer, I want to leave you with the ultimate provocative question this text inspires. What does it actually take for the world to accept your reality? We've explored the deep tension between external skepticism and internal truth. We've seen how a single, incredibly powerful concept, the certificate of inventiveness, acts as the ultimate seal of your intellectual sovereignty. But I want you to bring this back to your own life and your own journey. When you forge an idea, when you create something entirely new from the fabric of your own imagination, how are you going to protect it? How will you plant your flag and declare your intellectual territory? Because in a world that is always, always so eager to doubt, simply knowing your own truth is never quite enough. You have to prove it. You have to silence the doubt. So, what is your certificate? What will be your definitive seal of proof? Keep learning, keep creating, and absolutely never surrender your sovereignty.